Hey, Wember World Entertainment, and we have an update regarding The Batman Part 2. Its working title apparently has been revealed. And then writer Madison Tomlin, who is writing this sequel, or has co-wrote the sequel, is talking a bit about it, which comes right in the heels of this supposed title reveal. Well, the title reveal is what the movie is working under. So we'll have a look at this, but what the writer says is quite interesting as well, and kind of gives us a bit of an insight into what they're planning to do with this. So let's have a look at this. So it's saying The Batman Part 2 is quickly taking shape and is currently scheduled to begin filming in the UK this April. The sequel has been a long time coming, as The Batman was released in 2022. That's a whopping 5+ year gap between sequels. Straight away, I love how when it's DC, it's like, that's a huge gap. What are they doing? When it's Marvel, it's like, let them cook. Like, they're saying it's a whopping 5+ years since the first Batman came out. It's been over 7 years now since Marvel announced Blade, and that doesn't even have a script. So I just like, it's funny every time they talk about like something like Blade and stuff, it's always like, they're trying to figure it out. Let them cook. When it's something like The Batman, it's like, what's taking them so long? I just think that's hilarious. So, by the way, where this news comes from, I've never heard of this. Maybe you have, but I've never heard of it. So it's saying, thanks to Hollywood North Buzz. So whoever or whatever that is, if you know, let us know in the comments, but that's who this information is coming from. We now know that filmmaker Matt Reeves' DC return will shoot under the working title Vengeance 2. And yes, the Batman's working title, as you've likely guessed, was Vengeance. So apparently the working title is Vengeance 2. Somewhat makes sense. Whether that's accurate or not, don't know. Maybe this, whoever Hollywood North Buzz is, just going on the idea of, well, if the first one was called Vengeance, maybe he's just going to call it Vengeance 2 and just put that out there. So, is it, isn't it? Don't know. It gives nothing away about the story or anything like that. It's just, it's seemingly because the first one was under the working title Vengeance, Part 2 is under the working title of Vengeance 2. So coincidentally, around the same time this news came out, the Batman Part 2 writer Madison Tomlin responded to a fan by writing, "We worked exceptionally hard to tell a story worthy of the character, something that feels new and dangerous. The bar couldn't be higher. Looking forward to people seeing it and being able to talk about it at length. Can't begin to describe what this film means to me." Tomlin, who worked on the first movie but didn't receive an official credit, added. So later he then added, "We did our actual literal pushed beyond the limit best." So it really does sound like they were kind of putting everything into this, what they could think. What I do like is that he says they wanted to work on the story worthy of the character. So it's not like, we needed this to be really great and the visuals to stand out and the city to look more. It's the fact that he's saying we worked really hard to tell the story for Batman. Like, it is worthy for Batman to be told. So I do like that part. So this continues saying, "It's hard to ask for more than that. The Batman ended by setting the stage for what sounded like a team up with the Joker and the Riddler. However, many fans expressed disappointment that Reeves looked set to focus on two villains who have received plenty of screen time over the years." And that is one of the things. Riddler, especially this version of Riddler, I don't think people were expecting much more from him. But Joker, once that was kind of established and stuff, people were really like, really another one where we're just going to get the Joker. Like, are you serious? Come on, dude. There's so much of a gigantic rogues gallery. Why do you keep picking the same people? And of course, we know that's not the direction he's going in now. So it's saying having the Clown Prince of Crime take center stage in the Batman Part 2 also feels very reminiscent of The Dark Knight in 2008. It no longer looks like that's the plan, but we are likely getting Two-Face, seeing as he his father, and wife have all been cast in the movie. Now, just before I read this next part, just to let you know, there is a spoiler for The Long Halloween, the comic story now. So if you don't want to know what that is, I'll give you fair warning when I'm about to say it. It's regarding a character from that story. But if you don't want to know it, I'll warn you when I'm about to say it. But otherwise, they're kind of hinting at this is what could be. So it's saying it's worth noting that Two-Face's screen time in Christopher Nolan's Batman Begins sequel was relatively minor. Here's the spoiler for The Long Halloween, so just click past about, 5 seconds. So I'll count down, I'll say this part, and then we'll go on. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If Gilda Dent, the holiday killer in the comics, is also taking center stage, there could be some big twists in store. Hush, Jeremiah, Arkham, and Phantasm are all rumoured or theorised to appear. Hush is the most likely because he was teased in the first movie. Jeremiah Arkham, I don't really think that's going to go in any direction. And Phantasm, yeah, there was a bit of speculation about that, but I don't think that's going to be happening either. So, of course, we know who has written the script and who's going to star in it and all this stuff. And then, of course, part 2 is set to be released in theatres on October 1st, 2027. Which, realistically, nowadays doesn't seem that far away anymore, does it? To think how long we were sitting there going, my God, this movie's so far away. And now we're sitting here going, it's pretty much right around the corner. That's insane. It's also funny that they're saying it's to begin in April. There was still talks that it was supposed to start sooner, but it does now seem like that is the case, that it will start in around April. Might even start next month. So we do know that Scarlett Johansson, of course, is playing Gilda Dent. We know that Sebastian Stan is going to be Harvey Dent. We don't know who's going to play the father yet. We do know that they were interested in getting Brad Pitt for that role. He turned it down, apparently. There was also actually a story there the other day that I saw, very briefly popping up, that Stellan Skarsgård turned down a key role in the sequel. I would assume maybe that was Harvey Dent's father. Maybe that's what that role was again. So, I don't know. But yeah, the fact that this does seem to be ramping up now and definitely looks like the movie we're all kind of saying, is this thing ever actually going to happen? Is now actually going to happen. So, bring it on. And my God, if this thing smashes at the box office, like even comes close to what the first movie did, that is going to be massive egg on James Gunn's face, because even the Batman made more money than Superman. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens. So with that, I shall leave it there for this one. So do like and share and subscribe and all that good stuff. Cheers, and I'll catch you in the next one.